blessing to the reading of His Word. And I must thank you, David, for that musical selection. You almost made me pull out my handkerchief. But we are all blessed by your talent, to be sure. And happy Father's Day once again.
Happy Father's Day.
All right, to all of our fathers and father figures in the audience, we salute you and we bless you this day for all that you have done and all that you are doing and all that you continue to do. And we pray that you will allow us to continue with our series of realizing the dream, because there are so many people that have dreams and goals and are just not quite sure what they need to do to manifest them. What next step do they need to take so that their dreams will indeed become realized? Last week we spoke about steps 7 and 8. That was thinking and speaking. The power of thoughts and the power of the spoken word. And we said a couple of things. One is that everything begins with an idea. Everything that exists, everything that has ever existed, began with an idea, began with a thought. So thoughts are truly important and truly powerful. We also talked about the idea of controlling our thoughts and being in charge of our thoughts, realizing and recognizing that thoughts are things, thoughts become things, what we think about, we bring about. And we said that it was important for us to speak the word for good that we want to manifest in our life, world, and affairs. And our thoughts and our words are very powerful and they vibrate, and as we speak them and as we think them, we send them out into the universe, and they, with the magnetic force that they have, they attract things and conditions and circumstances similar to them into our life, world, and affairs. So as we think things out, we attract experiences to us. As we speak the word, we attract experiences and conditions to us. Today we're going to talk about 2 more important steps in the process. And that first step, which is actually step number 9, is to listen. To listen. We're talking about learning to listen to that still small voice of God within us. In 1 Kings, we are told this. And God is revealing some things to the prophet Elijah. And he tells Elijah, he says, go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord. And the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore into the mountains and broke the rocks into pieces. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. But, after that fire, there was a still small voice. Many times we expect to receive revelations in a grand fashion. The truth of the matter is that most times they come in the stillness and quietness. Most times they come as a result of the stillness and quietness. Many times we don't know what to do, we don't know what to do next, we don't know where to go, we don't know who to turn to, where to turn, because we are not taking enough time, or many of us not taking any time to listen, to be still, to be quiet. There's a time for doing outer things, and there's a time for doing inner things. We shouldn't always be active. We shouldn't always be busy. We shouldn't always be doing things. We should indeed take some time to be still and do things that are totally unrelated to our dreams. We talk about listening. Well, undergirding this entire series, and we've said, is prayer. Prayer is fundamental to all of this, all of the activity of achieving our dreams, goals, and desires. Prayer and meditation. It's been described, prayer has been described as speaking to God. Meditation has been described as listening to God. It's also been said that we have one mouth and two ears because it's more important to listen than to speak. So, we're talking about listening to that still small voice, that voice of God that is within us. And how do we listen? Well, we can indeed take times of prayer and meditation. We can indeed and should indeed take time to sit down and be still. Now, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands as to how many people do that. However, if we're talking about manifesting our dreams and goals, guess what? If we don't take time to be still, then we'll have a hard time manifesting our dreams, goals, and aspirations, and we'll be wondering why we're having a hard time because we're doing all those other things that we said to do, but this point that seems to be so simple and so basic and seems to be like doing nothing, this thing we are not doing, and this thing that we are not doing may in fact be the thing that is holding us back and keeping us from manifesting that which we say we want to manifest. Are you with me? We're talking about taking time to be still. And in addition to being still, which is extremely important, we're talking about taking time, okay, we're talking about listening, right? We're talking about taking time to do things separate and apart, totally unrelated to our dreams, but things that are relaxing to us. Things like what? Well, things like gardening, things like fishing, things like painting, things like listening to soothing music, things like golfing, things that are peaceful and calming and meditative, taking a walk through the park. We're talking about doing things that calm our consciousness. We're talking about doing things which are not really doing things as such. I mean, if you're painting, you're painting. If you're, working in your garden, in your yard, I mean, you're not really doing a lot. Well, you are doing something. You are doing something creative. And you are giving your conscious phase of mind a rest from the worry and the issues and the challenges of the day. And you are, in that process, opening yourself up to hear, to listen, and receive. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. We're talking about receiving the inspiration, receiving the guidance, receiving the understanding, receiving the direction that God has for us.